All right. Hello, STLP. This is Matt Crestline, and I'm joined by Miss Rhonda Thompson from Jackson County. She is the current CIO of Jackson County Schools, as well as the current CAST president for the Kentucky Association of School Technology, which is a whole lot different than saying KISTI. It's always been KISTI, but now it's CAST, new and improved. Miss Rhonda Thompson is our challenge lead for the STLP Tech Bowl, and I'm going to give her a second to switch her presentation on, and we will get rolling with the STLP Tech Bowl Challenge.
Okay, hang on just a minute. It's wanting me to, of course, give permission. Okay, Matt, it's wanting me to quit and reopen Teams because I changed the sharing permission. So let me do that real quick. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. And while we're waiting for that to pop up, if you do have any questions that you want to pop in the chat, you're more than welcome to do that. Or you can also unmute if you're able to and ask any questions while Ms. Thompson is presenting.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. It was being a little hateful. Okay, let's see if I can share my screen now. Believe it's going to work.
There we go.
Okay, let me pull my presentation up. So I will share this, the actual presentation with Matt so he can add it to whatever resources he needs to add it to. But what I'm going to be talking to you about today is the Tech Bowl and everything you need to know about how the Tech Bowl runs and what you need to bring with you when you're there. So by the time, everything you need to know, we're going to cover, hopefully. If not, we'll have questions at the end. So objectives today, we're going to cover what is Tech Bowl, who can be on your team, how will I know when my competition begins, what do I need to bring with me, and how can I prepare? So I've done this competition for several years, and these are always the biggest questions that I always get from STLP coordinators. So those are the things I wanted to make sure that I covered today. So what is Tech Bowl? It's a fast-paced technology quiz competition that takes place live at STLP State. So you sign up for it. It has a designated time when your group competes. So there's nothing you have to do beforehand to get ready. It's just a live event. It challenges students to demonstrate their general tech knowledge and their quick thinking skills. Because we do K through 12, we do divide it up into elementary, middle, and high. If your school is an elementary school, but they go maybe grades K through 7 or K through 8, you actually participate in the K through 5 if it's a 5th grade. So if you had a 6th grade at your elementary school, then they would compete in the middle area. So you actually go by your grade band, not necessarily your elementary, middle, or high division, because I know different schools divide that into different ways. But this is what we consider those divisions. All groups participate in a high-energy Kahoot quiz consisting of approximately 30 general technology-related questions. So the Tech Bowl tests both their knowledge and their speed. If you know anything about Kahoot, you know the faster you answer the question, the more points you get. The questions remain on the screen for up to 25 seconds or until all the participants have answered the questions. And again, the quicker they answer, the more points they get from Kahoot. The winners in each division will be determined solely by achieving the highest overall Kahoot score. Like it's just to recap, there's 30 questions from a wide range of topics in technology, and each question stays on the screen for 25 seconds. Your team registration for Tech Bowl is limited to a maximum of two students per school per division. So if you have a K-8 school, you could actually register up to 4 kids because you would have 2 registered in K-5 and 2 registered in the 6-8 group. Same thing with middle school. If your middle school runs over to 9th grade, you could have a middle school group of 6th, 7th, or 8th graders, and then you could have a team of your 9th graders. The biggest thing that you have to remember is this is an individual event, not a team event. So many times when the competition starts, the kids come in thinking they're going to be working as a team on this event, because that's usually when they sign up in duos, they are working as a team. But this is an individual competition. So they are indeed competing against their classmate in this competition. So that's something that's really hard for them to remember and to understand, because I will catch them wanting to talk to each other sometimes throughout the competition, and I have to remind them, hey, you're competing against your best friend over here. So don't be sharing your knowledge and keep your screen hid. So, but that's very important. You can only register 2, and you must be registered prior to the event. How will I know when my competition happens? So again, when Matt and his team sends out the STLP state registration form, you'll sign up for Tech Bowl. You'll list your 2 students' names as well as your coordinator's name, and then you'll be receiving an email from me detailing when and where your particular competition will be. It's very important that you put your coordinator's name on there, so if I have any questions that I can get back to you. If there's a problem that one of your kids couldn't come, or there's a conflict, we can change those students out prior to the competition starting, as long as you've already registered. So don't freak out if one of your kids gets sick, or you realize after you've registered their project is also being judged at the same time. We'll make accommodations for those kids at that time to make sure that your school gets to compete. What do I need to bring with me? So this is a big thing. They need to make sure they bring a fully charged device with either the Kahoot app installed or the ability to navigate the Kahoot website. So it never fails. We have a kid come in, their device is not charged, it's dead. So we have to go through the whole thing of finding them a corner they can sit in to charge their device while they're doing the Kahoot. We've also seen that students are not able to access Kahoot on some district-owned devices. So you want to make sure you test that before the actual competition to make sure they can get into Kahoot, and they can, or if it's an app, if they may want to use their personal phone, and that's fine, you need to make sure they have that Kahoot app installed prior to the competition. Or like I said, the ability to navigate to that Kahoot website. As the coordinator, you should also make sure that that device has already been connected to the Wi-Fi before they arrive to the competition. We had a kid last year who couldn't even log into the device that he brought from school. So he had to run back downstairs to find his coordinator to help him get logged in and help him get connected to Wi-Fi. So again, fully charged, connected to Wi-Fi, and they have access to the Kahoot app or the Kahoot website. Big important things. How do I prepare? This is the number one question that I get all the time. I don't typically give out questions like a question bank, because we use some of the same questions year after year after year on things that don't change a lot. But a good place to start is the Kentucky Technology Standards for your grade level. So I have linked those technology standards here for you in this Canva presentation. So review those by your grade level, and you can kind of get a good idea of some of the things that your kids would need to know. I also recommend visiting Kahoot, Wayground, Quizlet, etc., and look for related pre-made games. So for example, today I went to Wayground, which used to be Quizzes, and I just typed in like word processing questions, and it gave me a pre-made quiz from them on word processing. So that's a great way to get them to study, get your students to study, get them used to those type of questions. And of course, you definitely want them to visit Kahoot before the competition so they understand how it works and how it scores and that kind of thing. So I have actually, oh, got that one twice. Sorry, it's doing weird things. Okay, here are some elementary examples. So you need to type a letter to your principal. What application would be the best choice? Presentation, word processing, spreadsheet, email. So that question comes directly from the technology standards where kids need to pick the right tool for the right job. So you'll see things like this, or it may say you need to do a budget for your STLP group. What application would you use? So making sure the kids understand if they're given a task, what application or what tool that they would use to do that. And you'll notice that I don't have like Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. It's just the presentation application and the spreadsheet application. So that way, if your school is Microsoft, it's not going to put them at a disadvantage if I, if I have it up there as Google Sheets. It just says spreadsheet. Which of these is an example of a browser? And then again, which of these is an input device? So just from these three examples, you can tell we've got software questions, we've got hardware questions. We'll have some basic networking even type of questions on elementary. And then here are a few examples of middle school. So again, back to you need to do a task. What application would be the best choice? David wants to create a visual presentation to share his science project findings with his class. He needs to include text, images, charts to display his data, and the ability to organize his information into different slides. Which application would be the best choice for David? So again, back to the technology standards, picking the appropriate tool. Then we get into some networking questions for middle school, like what does the abbreviation WLAN stand for? Every Tech Bowl level does have abbreviations that are common to technology, so that's another good thing to study. And then all of them have some sort of digital citizenship component or internet safety component. There are going to be one or two questions on that for every level. Of course, when you get to high school, it gets a little more complex. You get into more troubleshooting. For example, a laser printer is producing pages with smudge toner. Which of the components is most likely the cause of the issue? Again, you get into some more higher level networking things. And then you get into some application things, but maybe not things that a middle schooler or an elementary kid would know, like what does BCC mean? So that's more of like the officey side, the application side of an email program. So those are some examples. And then does anybody have any questions is anybody on that has any questions?
Justin Maynard is on, and he asked that we share this presentation to him. We will include both this meeting recording and the presentation in the rubric, but Justin will make sure you get a copy of this as well.
And you can always email me. So my email address is on the screen. So it's just rhonda.thompson@jackson.kyschools.us. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you all have. But like I said, I always get the thing, do you have a bank of questions? And I just don't provide a whole bank because then I'm starting over every year. So I always kind of keep some of them under wraps, but I do try to share a few with everybody every year. So.
And I'll also add that this is a huge competition. I think usually between the three different divisions, you have over 200 student applicants that register for this each year. It's huge. It's a lot of fun. It's fairly quick.
It's a very easy way. Yeah, the kids love it. They have a good time. It's a very easy way for you to participate in the live events without having to do a lot of prep work. We're not having to figure out how to, program a drone or program a robot. And it's just kind of like you said, general knowledge, technology questions. So if you've got somebody that's really tech savvy, or if somebody just really wants to study hard, they would do really, really well in this competition. And it's quick, so they're not in there for a long, usually about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. Usually the elementary takes longer because it takes us a little bit longer to get them settled in because I usually have about 100 to 125 kids at the elementary that are in there. And so that one takes just a little bit longer. But usually we're done in about 30 minutes. The other thing is most of the live events let parents come in and watch the competition. Due to the space that we're in for this competition, we do not allow parents to come in. So make sure you communicate that with your parents, because a lot of times they come with the kids to drop them off. So just let them know that they're not allowed to stay in the room for that competition. But other than that, I think that's all I've got. Like I said, I've done it for years and years. I enjoy it. And like I said, it's always a fun few hours for me. My goal is I would love to see more high schoolers doing the competition, because we usually only have about 20 to 25 high schoolers that do the competition. So it kind of declines at every grade level. So I want to see more middle school and high school kids this year. So that would be my goal.
We'll push. We'll push extra
Yeah.
hard this year.
Yeah. And I think
All right.
this video is going to help a lot, because people don't really know what it is. It used to be called STLP Quick Recall, I think is what it was called years ago. And
That
then we
sounds
changed the
right.
names because everybody kind of tied that to academic team with the buzzer systems and stuff. So
Mhm.
this sounds a little bit more like what we're doing. So, but I will definitely share this presentation link with Matt so he can share it out as well.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for hopping on, and we'll be back tomorrow with game design with Keith Barnes.
Perfect.